Välkommen till den Osannolika Svensken.
Hey there, and welcome back to the Unlikely Swede. I'm your host, as always, and my name is Widell. Today's episode marks a departure, not just in tone or subject, but also in language, as I'm sure you've already noticed. Today's conversation will be in English, and English is the language of my family, and the language that feels most natural for today's guest, namely my eldest son, Kristophe. Chris was born in 1995 in Farnborough, just outside London, and from an early age, his life has been defined by movement. Chris has lived across continents, through Europe and Asia, switching countries, schools, and cultures in a rhythm unfamiliar to most, but second nature to him. This episode is his story. An open and honest reflection on growing up without a single anchor point, of finding identity through change, and navigating the beauty and the challenge of belonging everywhere and nowhere at once. It's a conversation about what it means to grow up globally, not as a privilege or a talking point, but as a lived emotional reality. For anyone who has ever looked beyond their own borders, or for those raised between them, this is an episode that will strike a deep chord. For me personally, it wasn't just meaningful, it was unforgettable. It was indeed the most emotional and joyful episode I've ever recorded. I'm immensely proud of Kristophe. I'm proud of the man he has become, of the clarity and depth with which he sees the world. Perhaps some of that comes from the journey itself, from the years lived between languages, time zones, and traditions. But enough from me. Let's together step into that journey right now. Here's Kristophe. Hi, Chris. How are you? Great to have you here.
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on, Father.
Oh, it's my pleasure indeed. So, Chris, today we're going to talk about you, and I'm super excited about it, obviously, since you're my son. And I also think that many of the listeners would be interested in hearing about your life till date, your upbringing and being an expat child and living in many different countries and so forth is not your usual upbringing, even though it is yours, if you know what I mean.
No, you could definitely say that. That's for sure. It's been unique.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of has, I guess. So I think we should start with Chris. If you give an introduction to your life, where were you born and where did you move, and then we will get into more detailed questions around all that. But I think that could be an interesting start to this episode.
Right, so yeah, all right, let's start from the very beginning then. Yeah, my name is Kristophe Jonathan Eric Widell. My parents met in London, where I was born, in Farnborough. And then from there it was, I guess, somewhat of a whirlwind. So from there it was Stockholm, that's of course your hometown. Täby as well as an extension of Stockholm. And then from there it was the world jaunt, I guess. Colombo, Sri Lanka, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, New Delhi, India, Bangkok, Thailand. And then, of course, that's when I detached from the family, so to say. University up in Umeå, Sweden. Finished that, moved in with my girlfriend in Vienna, and we moved back to Bangkok in November 23. And that's where I've been since then.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of countries in not so many years. You are turning 30 this year, Chris. So So it's a whirlwind of an upbringing, one could say, and a bunch of countries that you have lived in. So, in which country did you live the longest?
Oh boy, this is just a test of of
Yeah,
my
of your
memory.
memory.
Um, I guess it's got to be Thailand now. At least if we're doing post childhood as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I guess we're now we eighth year in Thailand. So I guess it's got to be that actually.
yeah, yeah. That's very, very interesting, Chris.
Interesting, kind of weird to think about actually, to be honest. But yeah, there we go.
Mhm. So, how many years have you lived in Sweden in total?
Oh boy, did three in Umeå University, and you're gonna have to correct me on this. Was it two in Sweden in its entirety? Sorry, Stockholm.
Um, I think, yeah, I would say 3 years. 1 year in Stockholm and 2 years in Malmö.
Oh, I'm completely forgetting Malmö. Yeah, I'm only thinking about Täby and Stockholm proper. That's
Mm.
crazy. Oh, yeah, so that's gonna be 5 years, right? Something like that.
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah, yeah. All right, very interesting. So, the next question then would be, how old were you when we started moving around together?
Oof. So the fam moved across continents for the first time to Sri Lanka. Um, what can that be? I'm gonna have to lean on you again. 2003?
Yes, it was 2003. Yes, correct. But
There
you
we
were
go.
also only, what, 4 years when we moved from England to Sweden. Um, so yeah, I would say you were about 4 years then, basically, when you started moving around,
Yeah, there we go.
if memory
Young.
serves.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And do you remember when we moved to Sri Lanka in 2003, and how you felt before the move? How did you feel? If you remember, you were still rather young, but was it excitement or fear or nervousness, or what was your feeling?
Well, definitely all three of those columns just to start with. Um, what I remember is, oh man, this is kind of specific actually now. One of my teachers saying, "Oh yeah, you'll be moving. I heard you'll be moving to the exotics." And I think that's the first time I ever, oh yeah, exotic, is it? Yeah. It's it's 20 degrees warmer than Sweden. So I hope you'll enjoy that. So that was one of the first things I remember
Mm,
of that process.
mm,
But otherwise, yeah, no, there was a lot of, even as a kid, there was like, oh yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a new place. Like, what 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 will this look like?
mm,
Uh, what's in store for the family here? But then of course, you always forget, or maybe not always, but at that point, I didn't realize the, should we call it emotional pain of leaving your friends behind and joining a new school and going through that whole process. That became daunting for me. Maybe a few days before starting, because I think we were buying uniforms, we were buying, books and stationery, and then it kind of really, really sunk in, and it's like, oh gosh,
mm, mm,
how am I gonna get through this?
mm,
So yeah, definitely those are the two major emotions from what I can recall
mm. All
before
right,
moving.
makes sense.
Yeah.
When you have lived in so many different countries and still you're not even 30 yet, when people ask you where you're from, how do you even begin to answer that?
Oh boy. Okay, let's do the funny response first. So yeah, you're Swedish. I'm half Swedish. My mother is American of Caribbean descent. So my skin tone is a little darker than most would assume Swedes look like. And as a kid, I figured that out quite quickly. So people ask me, where are you from then? I'd always say New York, which for people who know me and potentially you is doubly funny because that's not even where my mother is from. She's from New Jersey. But it was just the easy way for me to deflect from Sweden because, out here, sometimes they didn't even know about the country. And if they did, they'd look at me funny and go, "Oh, you don't look very Swedish." And, growing up hearing that quite often was hurtful. So it was a way for me to get away from that. So it was very easy to say, "Yeah, American, New York, yes, please." But as I've now grown up, I realized I should not give a toss. Sorry, I hope you can swear on this podcast.
Yeah, go ahead.
That, of people's opinions. So yeah, I am Swedish, proudly so. You may think my curly hair is a bit funny, but I think your buck teeth are funny. Shit like that. I can't. I don't give a shit. So yeah, no, proud Swede is me.
Good. Yeah, good, good. And how important is that identity these days for you as a person?
Yeah. Oh boy, tough one already, I would say.
Mhm.
Um. Yeah, straight into the identity politics. Hey. Um. Yeah, somewhat important. I mean, I think.
No, I guess it's important to everybody. So, I mean, from that perspective, it's nothing particular. But is it kind of more important when one has had such an international upbringing uh, to have something to cling to, in terms of, I don't know,
Boy.
community or culture or something?
Growing up, my brothers and I did not feel that at all.
Mm,
So in that respect, I'd say not important at all. I don't think we missed it. I don't think we knew it was there, if you know
right.
what I mean. So there was nothing to miss or to make important. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, I get your point fully.
I mean, just talking about identity politics as well, just to continue on that question. Again, there was a period in my childhood that, people would ask me, "Where's home for you?" I said, "No, I don't have a home. I've moved around my family every 2.5 years. I don't have a home." But what about where your parents come from? Yeah, no, it's the same for me there. It's been 2 years in each of those places. And in the case of my mother, not even lived in the States.
Right.
Yeah, that means nothing to me personally.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, basically, the world is your home.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like Mo's deaf, but world citizen kind of has a ring to it.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of consider myself also. I mean, obviously, I'm Swedish, but I'm definitely a citizen of the world.
It's not hard for, if I can speak for you on this one, for myself or for you, to enjoy, other cultures of the world. And I think other people struggle with that, but you and I think we relish that. We thrive in that. And I think that's sounding a bit too she is why we might say we're world citizens, if that makes sense.
Yeah, probably, probably. And also with the experience, comes the realization that the world is a small place and we're all human beings. And to be honest, countries is just a human construct, not really
Absolutely.
what the nature intended. So, yeah.
No, you're absolutely right on that one.
All right. So looking back at your super international, background and upbringing, what would you say would be the best thing about growing up in an international environment?
This one's kind of easy, actually, to be honest. And again, kind of piggybacking off my last sentence there, the best thing is that you get to interact with people and learn their cultures and their things that make them unique, because not everyone's the same. And when you've been around the world, your mind is more open-minded. I would say, obviously, but yeah, that would be my answer to that one. That's the best thing. When you go to North India or the south of Thailand, and you can have specific regional dishes or drinks. And while you're having those, those food and beverage items, you can feel the history in some of those things. And
Mm,
that would be some of the best thing about having experience in other cultures.
mm, mm. Right. Fully understand, and a very good answer, I would say. All right, we move to the opposite side, so to speak. So moving around to a new country every second or third year of your upbringing, you know, must have also had some downsides to it. What was it that was what was the hardest part that you found with moving around that frequently from country to country?
Yeah, we're only a few minutes in this the questions, but I'm already feeling like a broken record. I would say again, the realization that you're gonna have to move and leave your friends and all that you've built, so to speak, in that environment and having to start it all over again. That would probably be the worst thing.
Mm, yeah.
But thankfully for me at least, the last two times where we had to move, so that would be to India and to Bangkok, to Thailand. Um, you kind of have to put up, if you didn't have it already, you kind of have to put up a facade, a face that showed or told people, I don't give a like, I don't care. Like, my name is Chris, and yeah, I'll talk to you outside. You know what I mean?
Mm,
That makes it easier. If you come off as laissez-faire, a little bit easygoing, then people approach you with more ease. I learned that, the
mm,
last time I moved around. And I think that's something that some people don't understand they might have to do. You know what I mean? You might feel fake doing it, but it's either that or you have a hard time and potentially get bullied after the fact. You know what I mean?
mm, mm. But wasn't it also so that in since your schooling was basically private international schools all over Asia, uh, and those schools, I mean, I guess many students there were in the same position. They moved around a little bit, and there were new people coming and people leaving, and it was more of a commonality than perhaps a school in Sweden, I would say, right?
Well, yes, I'd agree with that, but I think you've taken too strong of an example there, I think.
Mhm.
Not many people move to Sweden, if that makes sense. Or maybe that's just
No, I'm just more, the comparison is more for the listeners who perhaps went to the same, school for 7 years in the same commune and so forth and so on, to understand that you are changing not only school but also the whole country and stuff. But then there were the children at those schools were many of them were in similar positions. That's my point.
see what you mean. Yeah, but as a child, not enough to comfort you, at least in my opinion.
Mm. No, I can understand that. Yeah, I can understand that. So did this? So you had to teach yourself to be in a certain way once you approach the new school with new potential friends,
Mhm.
so that you quickly would be accepted into the group and start making friends rather fast. Is that something a skill that you developed?
Yeah, I mean, slight chameleon form, but I'll just pick you back up on that. Not to fit into the group, but more as a oh boy, how do I vocalize this? More as a thing so that people go, oh yeah, who is that boy? Who's that kid? Do you know what
Mm.
I mean?
Like an
Less of a
interest.
yeah, exactly.
Mm. Mm.
So
Okay.
less of oh, I have to be funny here so I fit in. More of a yeah, okay, well we'll see type thing.
And out of the schools in the different countries that you attended, which one was the best and which one was the worst, would you say?
Oh boy. Um, yeah, hard one. I might get done for defamation, you know?
Uh, I
Yeah.
doubt it. But even so, then we'll bring in the lawyers.
Oh boy, the best one. In my memory, I would say BIS in Saigon, the British International School.
Mhm.
Um,
Was the
but there
best, right?
was the best, but there may be a little bit of rose-tinted glasses going on here. I was quite
Sure,
young when we were in Hanoi, in Ho Chi Minh.
sure.
You know
Sure,
what I
but
mean?
I mean, it's only your personal feeling anyway, so nobody's going to judge that. But I understand what you mean. Okay,
Yeah,
so BIS number one in Ho Chi Minh City.
absolutely. The worst one, without a shadow of a doubt, was the boarding school in Haryana in India.
Mm, mm.
Shall we name that place or?
No, I don't think it's necessary. But I know, of course, and I know the answer would be what it was. So no surprise on my side, but
Mhm.
still interesting to see. It's got nothing to do with which country it was. In fact, it's more to do with the teachers and the curriculum and so forth, I imagine.
I mean, curriculum was an small issue, but I would say maybe there is where at least myself, potentially myself and my brother Marcus, felt the largest amount of culture shock.
Mhm.
And it's the bummer with some of these things is as children, you're beholden to your parents' professional schedule. And what tends to happen with our family is that we joined school late. And I don't think this was the first time either. So, like,
Oh, you mean
as
late in the semester?
late, yeah, for the start of year.
Mm.
So like a quick anecdote is, when Marcus and I first came in, it was 2 weeks after the start of the school year. Um, and we were being shown our dorm rooms. And I noticed there's no toilet tissue, right? There's no TP roll.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. We had to call our teachers sir or ma'am.
Mhm.
So I go, sorry, ma'am. I don't have a toilet roll here. May I get one, please? And she fully laughs in my face, saying, "This is India. Not a lot of people use toilet rolls, but here is a bum gun." Now, will the audience know what a bum gun is?
Doubtful. I don't know what it is either.
Come on, you lived in these
Oh,
countries.
you mean is that the hose is called the bum gun?
Yeah, well, there's slang for it. So the
Okay,
the
I didn't
detachable,
know actually, but obviously I'm familiar with the hose.
right, bum gun, the detachable bidet
Right.
is all they had, and that was the first time that I've ever seen that. And of course, I go, "What in the what?" But to have a teacher so boldly laugh in my face and say, "No, no, no," was yeah, eye-opening to say the very least.
Mm. No, fully. I fully understand what you mean, and yeah, as a child, it must have been a huge shock, but also something that scared you in the beginning, I guess.
I mean, yeah, if we're talking about that school, yeah, it helped me in a negative way, develop attitude problems because just everything there was, oh, you're the foreigner. This is how we do it here. But if it was simple things like, oh, I need to change my cup. I drank milk out of this cup. I'd like to have water now. They go, no, 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 drink from the same cup, type thing. You know what I mean? Like, how it's
Mm,
an inexplicable way to go about, child rearing and protection and education, in my opinion.
mm, mm. And a very different culture from what you were used to in these Western international schools. This was a local private school.
It was indeed. I mean, it was in quotation a world school,
Mm,
uh, but there were probably like eight other ethnicities in that school other than ethnic Indian, so not much of a world school. But it did have NYP, the IB in the end, so they had all that.
mm, mm. Yeah, yeah, no doubt. It wasn't a bad school. It was just taught and run in a very different way from what you were used to, basically.
Well, yeah, used to and thankfully never seen again.
Yeah. It's funny. I think you and Marcus both have, yeah, it's a dreaded memory to bring up, I think, for both of you.
Yeah, boarding school wasn't fun. I can say that
Yeah.
with my hand on my heart.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I guess we could have gone back and changed the time, but we can't, I'm afraid, Chris.
Yeah, thanks.
So, okay, let's move on. I have another question here. Growing up the way you did, do you think that that has shaped who you are today? And and if so, which I guess the answer would be yes, but that's up to you, obviously. But if it is so, then how?
I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, it's changed me for the better 100%.
Mm,
Um, but the how is a different question, right? I mean, it's not it's intangible, right? How things in your life shape your character. Um, but just on the face of it, again, going back to that or cultures topic, right? I mean, just the it's no, I just can't think about living your life and you're born in one city and you never leave that city in your life. I just that is unfathomable to me. So I can only view that as a positive. I literally cannot. There's no negative in experiencing other cultures than your own.
yeah. No, I concur with you fully on that.
So yeah, I mean, I apologize. It's not really an answer to how has it changed me, but it's just I cannot, yeah, fathom it in my head any other way.
Mm,
Or
mm,
not being accepting or not finding these type of things in your life interesting. You know what I mean?
mm. I agree. And to be able to develop the possible view or set of views that the world is so much larger than just one country, and to see that sure there are different cultures around the world and different religions, but at the end of the day we all want one thing: to be loved by somebody, I guess. And it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. I think mankind has complicated the current way of living on this planet, but that's a side topic, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that could be its own episode, I'm very sure.
Yeah, yeah, and perhaps it will be. All right, we go back.
Just for that, yeah, you have my phone number, so you can call me back, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Uh, all right, we go back, Chris, to another question. Then I think would be interesting to reflect upon.
Right?
If you could go back and change anything about how you grew up, would you?
I mean, I'm only 29, but I've developed a mindset where, at least for the most part, you shouldn't look back in regret. It does nothing for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
You can look back absolutely and say if you did it again, you might have done it differently. But looking back with regret, I think is a massive negative human emotion that uh I no longer want to partake in, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
if I could do things again, what would I do differently? Oh boy. I probably would change a few of my subjects in IB and gone a different route. I think I would have liked to have gone down the political science route. That would have
Mm,
been an interesting change, I reckon.
mm, mm. But I think that holds true to many. It's very difficult to decide what you want to become when you're old, when you're not really old at the time of choosing, so to speak. So it's
100%. That is also, I mean, a massive issue that I don't think a lot of people in the older generations understand.
right.
And so, yeah, I think that it's a very good point that you brought up. But let me flip reverse it on you, would you do anything different? What would you do differently if you could?
Well, I'm also like you, Chris. I tend to have a very, very few regrets in my life because, first of all, they're pointless. But I guess one thing I would have done differently is, and I think I've said that actually in one of the pod episodes earlier, is that would have wanted to spend more time with you and Marcus, particularly when you were younger, when I was working like crazy and home very seldom. But that I
Mhm.
think is the only regret I can, yeah.
Yeah, and I
That
guess
I
that's something only, sorry to interrupt you, working parents can understand, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And once once you grow a little bit older and wiser, and there's actually truth to that saying, you do become wiser with age. Um, you also realize that hey, work is just a small part of your entire life, and at the end of the day, it impacts who you are and what you do, but it can never be measured to your family in any sense of importance or priority. But you
No,
don't understand that when you're 30, or at least I didn't.
right.
Kind of, I guess.
As you say.
Or
Yeah, I
perhaps
mean,
that's a good excuse. I don't know. Right.
yeah, maybe it was.
So, right, Chris. Now, let's start wrapping up. It's been super interesting chatting with you, as it is always.
Good
Uh,
save, good save.
Thank you. So, the final question is then if you could give advice to a kid whose parents are about to move them across the world, what would you say to that child or to those children?
Oh boy. Um, yeah, what would I say? I mean, I'd say bloody enjoy it, man. But as a kid, you always get told that, and you always go for these adults, what the hell are they talking about?
Mhm.
And I reckon my point would get the same reaction. But yeah, if it was possible to tell my younger self, listen, this is going to be a benefit for you. It's going to be a bit of a pain, but it will be a net positive. Soak up what you can, enjoy what you can. That maybe is one of mine. Don't sweat the small shit. If you're getting a B in math and your parents telling you should get an A, fuck that shit, if I may be so brutal.
Mhm.
Um, and try to enjoy it, soak it up. I mean, not everyone gets that same chance. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, if you could soak it up, man, enjoy it, take in what you can. That would be what I would say.
yeah. I think that's very wise indeed. Very wise indeed. And yeah, enjoy the journey and have fun developing.
Yeah.
Cool. So now you are turning 30 this year, Chris, and you're also becoming a dad for the first time later on this year.
I know I am. It's gonna be a big year for us.
Yeah. So how do you see this child now? It will be the child of an American Swede and a British Filipino.
Hmm.
So a lot of nationalities. And then being born in Bangkok. And how do you see the upbringing of your child? If you can
Uh,
guess, I mean, obviously nothing is for sure, but as you see it right now, what would be a, a dream way for you to bring up your child?
oh boy, a dream way. I mean, I don't even know if I have a dream way. I mean, my fiance and I, Natasha, thankfully we agree on a lot of things that we spoke about, especially in regards to child upbringing, but we don't necessarily have a plan just yet.
Okay, Chris, awesome. It's been super fun talking with you, of course, and recording this episode since you're my son.
Is
but
that
I
it, by
think
the way?
also hopefully insightful for the listeners to listen to a different type of childhood, and you seem to have turned out well, I guess, in the end.
Yeah. I wouldn't open that door, but continue.
Probably not best to be left closed for the time being.
I would say so.
But no, but thanks very much, Chris. It's been super fun talking with you, and thanks for being so open and honest about everything. And yeah, thanks for participating. It's been my pleasure and my honor.
Well, thank you, Papa. We're gonna have to do another one in the future where I ask you questions. I'm sure some of the audience would love to hear from you as well on the opposite side.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. That we have to do. Good idea. Thanks for today, Chris.